Salvador Rodriguez from Finance Theory 2. It's currently Wednesday, May 6th. It's 5:19 p.m. Um, so basically, this is my project, and I wanna show it over with you guys. So I got this idea from one of the homework one. You posted this extra credit project. We talked about it in class a few times, and this is what I came up with. Um, so like you wanted industries, market cap, stock price. We all have that for every stock in the stock market right now. Financials. Let's change that to insurance, and then bring this updates to insurance companies. So yeah, so the model works. It took me a while. We got that figured out. We can always check that to see stock prices to be the most updated when my stock app opens. But yeah, while that opens up, I'll show you guys also. Decided to add some sectors here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I decided to add. Let's see here. Let's check the first one, Aflac. Aflac is going for 34.28 and 34.28. So that's good. Matches. Let's check Aegon to 143. Well, that's not even the correct one. AG. There we go. Going for 23.20, 23.2. Yeah. So stock price works. It's correct. My site's had some sectors also. I'll go into the buy to down a little bit. But first, let me tell you guys why. How I made this. So the first thing I did was I had to bring in all the information into Google Excel. Microsoft Excel. And the way I did that was, under homework number 2, we talked about Google Finance and how to import things into the stock market there. And how to import data there and then into Microsoft Excel. And so that's what I did. I got all of these stocks from Fidelity. Fidelity has them all listed on all the industries, all the sectors. You click on one of these, it gives you all the stocks in that industry. I won't go into that because I'm out of time. But yeah, I copied and pasted all of the stocks. There's over 3,000 in here. Then with the Google Finance formulas that we learned, I managed to get the companies, the market cap, and the prices, and then just copy and paste down the formulas. Pretty simple. As we also discussed in class, in order to move that to Excel, publish to the web, we want that to be a CSV. This is already published. That's what I have in my model, so it says, stop publishing. But yeah, we get that for CSV. It gives you a link, copy and press that link, take that link over to Excel. Under data, from text CSV, you can click that. And then if we can paste our link there, and then right here we can paste our link, import, and then we'll import all of the data. The data we get then is over here. So this downwards is all from Google Finance. So that was pretty cool. It was once I figured out how to do that, it was a lot faster. So now the hardest part was, before we get into that, well, in order to create these, what I did was I created a separate sheet here, labels, where I have all of the sectors and industries written out, and all the sectors written out. I created lists from all of these. The way I did that was, we did the formulas, name manager, just create names and lists for all of these. So yeah, so we did those. And then from there, we go here to create the drop down menu. Data validation right there. And then this has to be set to list, and so this equals my categories list where I have all the sectors. And then this, we have to make this dependent, same thing, dependent on L3, and that's how you get, those lists. So that's how we did that. It took me, we learned about data validation, but we didn't learn about dependence, how to make them dependent in class. So, I went on YouTube, I learned that myself. Now, the hardest part was making all the stock information move along with the sectors and industries. So the way I did that was I found this YouTube video. It took me hours on YouTube to find anything relatively that would help me. I finally found this one person that had a video where I took the roots of the equation. The equations were different, but I took the roots, I added the affairs. And so what I did was basically I created a helper one, and this helper one allowed me to assign a number to every single row. Helper two is a formula that if M3, which is an industry, so let's change these now to, let's change this to communication services, and then let's change this to diversified, so the very first one. So if M3, if my industry equals B3, then I get a number. All right. If I don't get a number. It's that simple. That's what that's what the little quotation marks are. So that allows me only to filter out the information that I want. As I showed, if I change M3, if I change industry, these numbers appear and they go down here. And that lastly, helper number 3 allows me to assign, basically move them up, because if not, these stocks over here would show up down there where they began. They wouldn't begin all right here. So basically this formula right here is, this was the hardest of the formulas. It took me a long time to figure this one out. But basically, so this is depending on H3, so from H3 all the way down, if there's a number in that list, it puts it in order, and puts it in order. And so that makes them all in order. And so that's where we want the stocks to be in order. We don't want stocks all over the place in this final list. Now moving along over here, this symbol was a little simpler because it was an index formula, which is, I think, something I've discussed in CIS 375 for all business majors. So I had used this maybe once before, so this was a lot easier. Basically for this, it means, so this right here is our data range, which is all of the stocks information. So in that data range, if there is a number in I3, then we get this column right here. We get N5, and that's how we get that. Obviously, if it doesn't show up, then we have a blank, and then that's how we got that. We just, copy and paste that formula across and down, and that's how we got these numbers to show up. And like I showed you, they move along, so that's pretty good. So now, why did I add this stuff? The reason I did was because after I made the model, I figured that, it could be helpful if the model, I use a model now because I've had it done for a few days. I use it more of like a summary of or an overview of the market. For instance, tonight when I'm researching stocks and how I'm going to trade tomorrow, if I decide to trade, I'm going to see that this information tech sector had a very good day today, and I'll look at why, look at the stocks over here under that sector, I look in the industries, and I'll see really what outperformed the rest of the market for today. So now I know where to start, So it's not supposed to, give me an exact pinpoint of what I'm looking to trade. It's supposed to serve as a summary as to where to begin, where to begin searching, It also shows me the markets, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. If you look again at the stock market, the Dow Jones finished 0.91% down. That's correct. Futures as well. So I like looking at futures the night before. It kind of gives me an idea as to how I believe the markets are going to open. So it's like I said, this is all information that just helps me give me a summary, and it's just a starting point for as to where I want to look. Although it's a very useful starting point because it has all the information in one single space. This information right here is also not hard-coded. These two come from, this one comes from Fidelity, this information comes from Fidelity. I brought that in from the web. And then this information, it comes from Yahoo Finance. It comes from Yahoo Finance. I imported that in, it's from the web, it's not hard-coded, changes as well. This information from the sectors comes from Google Finance. I created a spreadsheet there for Google Finance, just like I did for the stocks. It's also very simple. Create that spreadsheet with the Google Finance formulas. This information, so you can see it's from Sheets C12. So yeah, not hard coded either. And then these two tabs I just made myself right here. Not tabs. These two I just made these myself, and I just have the previous. It just shows me how to close the day before and the percentage it moved in the day. So yeah, and the rest is just simple. Um, it's just simple conditional formatting. If it's negative, make it red. If it's positive, make it green. I have that set for all of these. These two, you can sort them smallest, largest, alphabetical order. Simple conditional formatting up here. That's all basic stuff I learned in CIS 270. And then lastly, this is just a now equation. Every time I change something, it updates the model. Every time I, update it, updates. But yeah, so that's basically my model. Like I said, it was actually very interesting to put this all together. It serves me as a guide as to where to begin going for the day, going in my research. Um, yeah, it's something that has helped me. So I hope that if anybody else watches this, I hope that they were able to learn something. Probably help them out. Like I said, the formulas are right here. If you guys want to make this on your own, the formulas should work as long as you set it up all properly. But yeah, usually when I have this open, I usually just close this, hide these tabs, just so that it opens up to this. But yeah, all right. Well, thank you, Professor. Thank you, class, and the girls watching this. Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day.